Michael had been looking forward to it since he turned 60. Early retirement, with a decent pension based on his last year's salary, topped up by the old age pension. They had no mortgage. He'd managed to put a bit away in the bank after the kids had left, and it was going to be downhill all the way until he popped his clogs. With any luck on the health front, the wife and himself would have a comfortable 20 years to go from the day his employer presented him with a goodbye clock. Most evenings, after what he and herself still called tea, he would enthuse about the times they would have together and all the time in the world to enjoy them. He avidly read the travel sections of the Sunday newspapers, those wonderful cruises and escorted tours, imagining the marvellous experiences they would share. Now, a year into his anticipated days of freedom from the monotony of the daily grind, a leisurely life of time together and the pursuit of pleasures denied them in the past, he had to admit to himself, if to nobody else, and certainly not to his wife, that it hadn't quite worked out as planned. The accolades from the boss, the fond farewells of the workmates, even the presentation of the bloody clock, had, he felt, been a genuine tribute to his almost lifelong contribution to the firm. He was never going to make it to the very top, but he'd been popular enough when younger, and respected as a wise old head as the years slipped inexorably by. The big day came and went, the first day of the rest of his and his wife's life stretched ahead, bright with promise. It came as a surprise, as early as the first week of the idyll, when he found himself alone in the house, with only the dog for company for much of the day. For his wife had a busy social life, developed over the years. Ladies' golf day at the club took up most of Tuesday morning, with lunch taking the ladies well into the afternoon. On Wednesday, the day was given over to bridge and tea at one or the other of his wife's friends' houses. Thursday was the day when the ladies lunched at a local gastropub, and Friday was shopping day. He decided, although he hated shopping, to join his wife on the expedition to the supermarket. "Or I'll never see you at all," as he put it, with more than a hint of pathos. It was to be the one and only time they walked the supermarket aisles together. When they got home, she sat him down with a cup of tea and some home truths. "Michael," she said, "for the past 30 years, while you've been out to work, I've been running this house, paying the bills, watching the pennies, making sure there's always something on the table. I don't need you checking every receipt, and I certainly don't want you following me around the supermarket like you did this morning with your endless questions about everything I was buying and picking things off the shelves and putting them in the basket for me to put back on the shelf because we'd never used them. And chatting to the checkout girl as if she were an old friend, while everybody in the queue behind was getting more and more annoyed with the delay. With all your foostering around, it took an hour longer than usual, and you ended up making me late for my book club meeting. Never again. Find yourself something to do on a Friday. You're sitting around the house moping far too much since you retired, and I haven't got all day to sit and talk to you." But he had no one else to talk to.